folks. Welcome to Rational Science. You say, why rational? Well, isn't all science rational? Well, not science is rational, but not all theories out there are rational. Okay, so let's separate those. Here we have some criteria for what rationality is. We had to define rationality because nobody has. Okay, not in a scientific, in a formal way, right? So here we have a very quick rundown. Reifying concepts, that's the worst possible scenario where someone wants to tell you a theory and he turns the spirit into a physical entity. Okay, definitions, a lot of people don't pay attention to definitions. Certainly no mathematician on planet Earth pays attention to definitions. They have no definitions, for the words that they're going to use to make their physical interpretations. Okay, energy, mass, field, none of those words have ever been defined, not in physical terms. Okay, they've been defined mathematically, which and then they use it as physical objects. Again, reification. But yeah, they don't have definitions for those terms, and that's what they make their case with. So you figure it out. Theory must follow from the assumptions. You present a knife at trial, and then you tell them that the deceased died because of 5 bullets in his head. Well, it doesn't follow from the assumption for what he presented, right? Describing instead of explaining, that's what mathematical physics does. All they can do is describe. Mathematics can only describe. Mathematics is a descriptive language. It has no power, no authority, no wherewithal to explain anything. Okay, the explanation is what the mathematical physicists come in there and say, well, we don't do that. That's on the other side of campus. That's philosophy. But that's what they do. They try to give a physical interpretation to the universe. It's all hogwash. It's all nonsense. And then they cover it up by saying, well, we don't do that anyway. We do equations. And then the last one, unimaginable mechanism. That's what we're going to be talking about today, that you cannot even imagine the mechanism people propose, especially everybody out there concerning electricity. What is electricity? And nobody can tell you, not in a rational way. Okay, so because their mechanism essentially is unimaginable. So what's different between what the mathematicians do and what we do here, physics? We call ourselves rational science, rational physics. Well, I'll give you a little example, okay? Prepared a little example. And what I want you to do is I want you to watch the little film clip I'm going to put here. And then I'm going to ask you a question about the film clip. Very simple question, okay? Just one question, okay? And so here goes, okay? Let me show it to you one more time in case you missed it. Okay, so here goes the million-dollar question, okay? How did the window break? What caused the window to break? Well, if you're a rational individual, if you're a normal human being, you would say, well, the horseshoe went through the window. Very simple, very straightforward. It's a no-brainer, okay? That's not what a mathematician would answer. Mathematician would answer this. Here, let me show you. This is how they would answer. Well, you see, there was this mass, and he moved it with all this energy, and the force went through the window. This is how a mathematician explains physics, okay? So he twirls a mass using a lot of energy, and the force goes through the window. That's the difference between science and what the mathematicians do. People who call themselves mathematical physicists. What they do is they put all these concepts and they use them as physical objects, okay? And yeah, that's where the problem is. We have a problem today in that all we have are irrational explanations, primarily because they reify, they turn concepts into physical objects. They make them concrete. And they start moving them around. They don't even realize it because it's part of their language, it's part of their jargon. And they've been doing this for the last 400 years, maybe since the days of Newton. And so everybody just does it casually. They don't even realize what they're doing. And so when you point out, well, what do you mean by energy? Well, what do you mean by mass? And what do you mean by field? And what's charge? I didn't think wave was a physical object. I thought wave was something that something does, and so on. And so this is the problem. The problem is these people don't even realize that they're using concepts as physical objects.